flow of messages coming through.
Hell yeah, dog. Get all those messages.
All those messages. Oh, Jesus, what did I just swipe away? I hate that.
Unswipe.
Anyway, what are you up to?
Nothing.
How you been?
Good. How you been, huh?
I've been all right.
All right.
You know, some days are better than others,
I mean, that's true.
right?
Some days are better than others.
Yep, I guess I will never know what I accidentally just swiped away.
You won't. Probably because it was one of those, like, news ones or something.
No, it was the email. I was just checking something in my email real quick, and right when I was about to swipe away some junk, it updated, and I swiped something away, and I was just like, well, all right, hopefully that wasn't important. Not that I really get too many important emails, but whatever.
Maybe it was a Nigerian prince.
I guess he's just going to have to go scam someone else.
But maybe it was a real Nigerian prince because of all the rich Nigerian princes.
Oh, yeah, there's so many.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So many.
So many.
Anyway, what do you got to talk about today?
I have some old news and some new news.
Well, let's go over some old news.
All right. I didn't know this. But apparently, Millarworld imprint is moving to Dark Horse Comics this year.
Really?
Yeah. So apparently they signed a deal. Netflix and Millarworld signed a huge deal to basically move all of their titles over to Dark Horse. So they will be picking up the full portfolio of Millarworld titles, including the likes of Nemesis, Huck, and Magic Order starting in 2024.
Interesting. I wonder why they did this.
So Netflix and Dark Horse have a relationship already because they made like Umbrella Umbrella Academy. They made the they also do Dark Horse is doing the Stranger Things comics.
Okay.
Amongst other things too. There's another couple other adaptations. They have I believe their Netflix is doing the animated Hellboy stuff.
Okay.
Coming up too, I think. And then so that's the thing. So basically they haven't really announced much of anything yet until just right after that, and this is a couple weeks old now. I didn't realize it, but a new book called Nemesis Rogues Gallery, which is not the actual title, I don't think, but basically it's a new book in the lines of, oh, maybe it is Rogues Gallery. Okay, it's called that. In the Nemesis series, kind of the rebooted version. They came out after Reloaded. Will be one of the first ones, but they're also doing a library edition of some of his books. So it's an oversized hardcover. Dark Horse library editions are also coming. These are starting with The Wanted, Big Game, and then the something called The Ambassadors, or not something, a book called The Ambassadors and the Magic Order to follow. But the first setup is going to be the Wanted, which I think is just Wanted. I'm not too sure why they put The Wanted.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
But yeah, so they're going to get an oversized, like, basically absolute version. They call it library editions. So they're going to be getting those too. So, and those are all coming from Dark Horse. Finally. They should have been out a long time ago when they were an imprint of Marvel, but, whatever.
Yeah, right?
But anywho.
Right.
So yeah,
that makes sense.
So that's pretty cool. A couple big things for Millarworld happening now over at Dark Horse Comics. And then another one from last week I had up, but we didn't talk about it, is the Boondock Saints are back. Norman Reedus and Sean Patrick Flannery return as Boston vigilantes as Thunder Road and Dragonfly Films take reins.
All right, I'm already into this.
Yeah, dude, I was super excited. So, the rebirth of the 1999 classic favorite film, which is a weird thing to think about. It was from '99. The Boondock Saints is upon us. Thunder Road, the producer behind the John Wick films, has stepped in and joined rights holder Dragonfly Films to make what they are calling a universe expansion in the action film franchise about the fraternal twins, Irish brothers, who raise holy hell to rid their Boston hometown of all criminals.
So it's Reloaded. Is this a remake of the original?
No, where did you hit Reloaded from?
I thought you said Reloaded.
No. So this is a continuation. It's going to be a third film, but they're going to expand it and do other things. So they're going to introduce other characters that they can spin off. But the big thing, so in the current configuration, Troy Duffy will step aside as directing after creating and helming the original and the 2009 sequel, The Boondock Saints, All Saints Day. Both films starred The Walking Dead's Norman Reedus and Sean Patrick Flannery as the McManus brothers, with Billy Connolly playing their father. Reedus and Flannery will reprise their roles, and the story will involve the indoctrination of new saints. A search is on for a new director. Duffy plans to write a series of books about the saints, continuing their story that way. And so they're basically looking at essentially getting the original two brothers, and then they're going to bring in other essentially vigilantes to continue their work and go from there. So
okay, interesting.
Not
really sure how much I like that spin on things. Too many properties try that after a while, and it can go good in some cases, can go a little meh in others.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm kind of excited about a third movie, but I don't know how they're really gonna do much else. I mean, they're obviously gonna try to build the world a little more and do kind of like, I'm guessing, what they did with John Wick, where it was basically like this sprawling underworld of of assassins and killers and having their own little rules and things to go by or whatever. But yeah, so it'll be interesting because it kind of goes to like the second movie where they brought in another person.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're looking for newer saints to help them bring their justice. I don't know.
Get Willem Dafoe back.
Hell yeah, dude. There was a firefight.
So amazing, that movie.
Yeah, he was fantastic. What are you doing? Cuddling. Get off me. I don't want to say the word.
Yeah, don't say the word.
It's a movie quote, though.
No, we're not doing Mike stuff.
Anyway, so that's cool. I just thought it was cool that they're the two OGs are coming back. I forgot to look up. Is Billy Connolly still alive?
I have no idea. It's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
That's true. Let's see real quick here. Boondock Saints.
Yeah, looks like he's still alive.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah, Billy Connolly.
According to Wikipedia.
Let's fucking go.
Sir William Connolly.
Oh, yeah, it does say sir. Oh, shit. He a fancy boy.
Right?
Let's see. What's the last thing Billy Connolly did? 2016, Wild Oats. Oh, he was in The Hobbit?
Was he?
Yeah, he was one of the... What the fuck?
Was he one of the...
He was one of the dwarves?
Which one?
Dane the Second Ironfoot?
Huh.
Huh. There's so many people in those fucking movies, it's hard to tell. Plus, slathered in makeup and all.
Yeah, putting makeup and then shrunk down via movie magic.
Also, that was
things.
fucking 10 years ago.
Let's not do that.
That's wild. Das wild. Anywho, Boondock Saints coming back. And then the other piece of older news that I found last week is too, which we did not talk about, is 2 more video game adaptations are coming, and one of them involves Margot Robbie as producer.
I vaguely remember this. What was it?
So, basically, after the success of Barbie, obviously, other things are being made. Not that Barbie has to do with video games, but you know what I mean. Big franchises and stuff like that. So, Margot Robbie has landed on her next big franchise, a movie adaptation of the wildly popular video game series The Sims.
That's what it was, yeah.
So, unlike the Barbie movie, Robbie will not simply serve as a producer set to be written and directed by. She will be simply set as a producer, but the series is going to be written and directed by Kate Herron, who is known for doing the first season of Loki, and then that's about it. So it's basically there's a blurb of what Sims is, so it doesn't really tell us what the movie's going to be. But meanwhile, another video game adaptation is in the works from Paramount Plus, although the franchise isn't as well known as The Sims. Michelle Yeoh and Vin Diesel have reportedly signed on to an animated series based on Ark Survival Evolved. Which, when I read this last week, I was like, oh, cool. That sounds pretty rad, right? It's out already. It's on Netflix.
Yeah, it's. I've seen the advertisements for it.
Did you see all who's in it though?
Not all who's in it. The only one that sticks out that I am now forgetting is Russell Crowe. Or no?
Yeah, Russell Crowe, Gerard Butler, David Tennant,
Butler was the other one, yeah.
Jeffrey Wright, and Elliot Page are all in the cast.
Mm-hmm.
And Netflix just hey, or not Netflix, Paramount, whoever it was.
Netflix.
I think it was Netflix, right? Yeah, whatever it was, just put it out, and I was like, what? With all these people, you don't do anything, but that's Netflix for you, so.
No, and that's my problem with Netflix. Assuming it is Netflix. I'm 90% sure it is Netflix. Because it's also like an animated show, isn't it?
This says Paramount Plus on this article. That doesn't make sense. I swear to God it was Netflix.
Is it Paramount?
It might be.
Paramount going the way of Netflix and just dropping stuff and not even really giving... Oh, it does say premiere on Paramount Plus. Alright, so yeah, I was wrong. Paramount Plus.
Yeah, okay. I was like, I remember seeing something about it, and I was like, what? Why is this a thing? And then I said this article, and I was like, holy shit, it's a thing. That's wild.
Means I have the opportunity to watch it, but I'm not going to watch it still.
Yeah, no.
Big into the video games, so I really don't care. But I wish that they would advertise things a bit better. Like, I have seen ads for it, but the ads basically look like ads for video games, so I don't really... It doesn't hit me the same.
It was just wild to me that it has all these big names attached to it.
Oh yeah.
But yet there's nothing about it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then of course the last bit of this, not that it's a new one, but they're like, hey, if you like video game adaptations, the live action Fallout adaptation starring Walter Goggins premieres April 11th.
Nice.
So that's less than 2 weeks from now.
See, I've seen so much more about that than I have any thing else from Paramount Plus.
That's because Amazon actually likes to promote their stuff.
It does seem like it.
They're really good about it. They're just like, hey, we're gonna, I'm still seeing ads for Reacher, and Reacher season 2 has been out for a month now, or ended a month ago or whatever. So yeah, I don't know. I was like, fucking whatever, man. Two smaller stories. This one's real small, but it's interesting. Take-Two buys Gearbox, company behind the Borderlands franchise, from Embracer for $460 million.
Yeah, I saw that this morning, and I hope. I mean, it was one of those weird things that I was like, wait, I forgot that Embracer even owned Gearbox, and it's pretty good because Take-Two publishes their games anyway. So
Yeah.
just bring them under that umbrella. Did you see what games that they had already in development?
I mean, I know.
So there was
Borderlands 4.
two Borderlands games, two of another property that I cannot remember what it is now, and then a fifth, fifth one that is a new property. What was the other one? It was something I haven't heard of in a long time.
All right, I like that. I'm always down for more Gearbox stuff. I mean, really, actually, I say that. I think the only really Gearbox games I've enjoyed are the Borderlands games, because like they've done a couple other games that were like, eh.
Homeworld.
Oh yeah, they've had Homeworld. I didn't know they were doing a new. They're doing a new Homeworld game.
Yeah, let's see if this article from Polygon. So, as part of the deal, Take-Two acquires Borderlands franchise and spin-off series. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is one of his Homeworld. Risk of Rain, Brothers in Arms, Duke Nukem series. Studio acquired Take-Two, blah, 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 blah. Thought they talked.
Oh, and at least one new property, it says here in this article from Deadline.
So it does say two Borderlands and two Homeworld, was it?
Well, it says Take-Two said it expects the transition to deepen the successful relationship between Gearbox Entertainment and to provide increased financial benefits through a fully integrated operational structure. Gearbox extensive IP portfolio includes full ownership of the popular Borderlands and Tiny Tina Wonderlands franchises, as well as Homeworld, Risk of Rain, Brothers in Arms, Duke Nukem. So it says Gearbox currently has 6 interactive entertainment projects in various stages of development, including 5 sequels, 2 of which are from the Borderlands and Homeworld franchises, which makes me...
Yeah, so that makes me assume that it's two Borderlands, 2 Homeworld, and then 1
new property.
New property.
It's a weird way of saying that.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it's a slightly different article than what I found, but this one's from Deadline.
Hey, I'm all for it. And Embracer is that like group of people that just has been going around and buying up shit, and then just turning those companies that they buy up into they're just grinding them up. Because the last, who was it? I think it was the IDOS who made the most recent Tomb Raider series.
Oh, Crystal Dynamics?
Crystal Dynamics. I think they bought Crystal Dynamics last year or something like that. Or they bought the rights to something about Tomb Raider. Either they bought the rights to Tomb Raider or they bought the Crystal Dynamics. I can't remember. But that's the type of company that it feels like they buy up a lot of stuff and then just a lot of that stuff just dies underneath it. So it's nice to see a good company get out from underneath them.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, so that one had a little more detail than the other article I was reading.
I'm trying to look up who they own.
Embracer. Well, while you look that up, it says, I got another article here. It says Universal's Wolfman remake release date delayed to 2025. So this one is so Wolfman will reportedly center around a family who's being terrorized by a lethal predator. The modern remake stars Emmy winner Julie Gardner from Ozark, Golden Globe nominee Christopher Abbott from Girls and Catch-22, and Sam, I think it's pronounced Yeager's Handmaid's Tale, with Abbott portraying the titular character of the Wolfman. But the important part is this one is being directed by Lee Winnell, the guy who did The Invisible Man, as well as co-creator of Saw from back in the day, amongst many other things. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, he's got some good pedigree under him.
Yeah.
I'm not really finding a good list here. But anyway, they own a lot of gaming studios.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever. Anyway. What else you got?
That was all I had saved. Gearbox Software. When were they bought by
Gearbox,
Embracer?
I believe was bought years ago by them. I want to say it was before Colonial Marines.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. Yeah.
2015. Yeah. Restructuring and acquisition by Embracer Group, 2015. Gearbox established Gearbox Publishing in 2015, first announced to the public in December of 2016 as the publisher to publish third-party games, starting with the remaster version of Bulletstorm from People Can Fly. Blah, blah, blah. Co-founder. In April 20, Gearbox Entertainment was wholly... Oh, so 2021, they were wholly acquired by Embracer Group.
So it was after.
Yeah. Approximately 1.3 billion? Jesus. That's probably had a lot to do with the franchises they were working with, though.
Yeah, and I remember the initial article that I had seen about it. I think they mentioned it was like 1 billion, but the actual first year purchase was like $300 and something million with one of those like down the road type of thing that would include some sort of like the games and stuff that they'd be making for them, but they sold for 300 just a bit over $300 million, if I recall right. They actually sold them for.
So Embracer Group is Nordic Games.
Was Nordic Games, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Is a Swedish video game and media holding company based in Karlstad. Company comprises 10 operative groups: Amplifier, Game Invest, Coffee Stain, Dark Horse Media, Deca Games, Easy Brain, Free Mode, Palayan, whatever the hell that is, and THQ Nordic. But what companies do they own, though? Subsidiaries.
There we go.
Nordic, or THQ Nordic, owns a bunch. Trying to see if there's any notable ones. Gunfire Games, interesting. PlayOn owns Deep Silver, Milestone.
So they do have Eidos Montreal, Crystal Dynamics.
Yeah.
Taser Studios sounds familiar. What they do? Oh, Little Nightmares.
So they own Dark Horse Comics.
Yeah.
Interesting. So they now own or publish Millarworld comics.
Yep. Oops. Did not mean to click on that.
Oh, obviously this needs to be updated.
Right. Do now.
Well, it's because it says, according to Wikipedia, it says as of March 2024, Embracer Group employs 12,000 plus people across 111 studios 10 operating groups. When you go down, you get to Gearbox Entertainment, and it still lists them as being by them. So CDE Entertainment has Eidos Montreal and Crystal Dynamics.
Yeah. Free Mode does the Middle Earth. Oh, it looks like they own the Middle Earth rights.
Jesus, really?
Yeah.
Who makes those games?
Who made?
That's a great question, actually.
Because well, I think they own the rights to make the games for the Tolkien estate, and so that you can just hire out companies to do it. Because what did that Golem game didn't do very well. No. I don't remember who that studio was, but that studio folded after that game got released because it was so bad.
Yeah, so they closed. So they owned Square Enix Montreal, and they closed it in 2022.
That's right.
And then Volition Games was acquired by Deep Silver, and then they closed in August of 2023.
That was another upsetting one.
And then Saber Interactive was closed as well. Or actually, here it says divested, which I don't actually understand what that actually means.
Pretty sure that just means that they took all of the properties of it, they kept the properties, and then they just moved everybody everywhere else.
Interesting.
That sucks. Volition made some good games.
Hell yeah, they did.
That was another thing that sucked about some of this, and I don't remember which studios it is, and I could be wrong on if it was any of these studios, but I remember, I think I remember something about some of these got bought up, and you're like, okay, that's cool. They, have a new, they have the ability to make, some of their properties again, and they just set them about making like just dumb games, like nothing that they had worked on before, just like third-party add-ons to games. And, like, they kind of like what they did with Gearbox for the littlest, well, what Gearbox did for the littlest while, because they weren't working on Borderlands, they were working on other stuff like Colonial Marines and whatnot.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's funny because I remember I guess maybe that's why he was doing so much, because Randy over the last few months has been like dropping codes for like gold keys and diamond keys and stuff for Borderlands.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it's because this transition started to happen.
It could be.
He's like, well, guess what, bitches. Also, I think he was doing that because they were announcing the movie too.
I could definitely see that.
So
get people back into the game and interested in the world again.
Instruction acquired by Embracer. So, in July of 2014, Randy Pitchford formally contested the Alien Colonial Marines class action lawsuit, stating the game had cost them millions of their own money and the advertising was solely the fault of the publisher. Yikes. Interesting.
Right. Indeed.
Anywho, so Embracer sucks in general, but, But
at least Gearbox was able to get out from under it and keep their properties.
Yup. Oh, so they did gobble up all of it. So I was looking at the thing, and they listed Gearbox software. So that article, I think, might have not have talked about it, but they acquired Gearbox Entertainment. I mean, that's a hell of a price difference, though.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2021, Embracer bought fully incorporated Gearbox Entertainment for $1.3 billion, and they just basically sold them wholly to Take-Two Interactive for 460 million.
Again, that's and I'd have to find where the source I saw it from is. They actually bought it, from what I remember, for like 300 something million, with like some sort of like weird option or something that down the road that makes it equal out to 1 point something billion dollars, but then sold it for whatever the amount was. So they only lost like $63 million or something like that. I think that's what it was. I'd have to find it again.
This just says, this is Wikipedia, says that in April 2021, Gearbox Entertainment was wholly acquired by Embracer Group for approximately $1.3 billion, and was added as the company's seventh major publisher group. Says Pitchford stated that while they were looking to raise capital from 2016, they came to meet with Embracer and saw that their decentralized studio model would work well for Gearbox. 2K remained on Gearbox's board and continued to publish the Borderlands games. Oh wait, 2K, that's not Take-Two.
I thought it was Take-Two.
This says 2K remained as the publisher. Wait, what? I'm so confused.
Yeah, now I'm confused too.
So what the fuck? Games published. Take a list. Take-Two Entertainment. Let's see. LA Noire. XCOM. The Darkness. Civilization. Mafia. It does say Borderlands. What is 2K doing? So confused. Oh man, that's a long list of games.
So here it is. So back in 2021, when Embracer bought up Gearbox, according to GameSpot article here, it says Gearbox was one of Embracer's group's biggest acquisitions when it bought the company in 2021 in a deal worth $1.3 billion. As the deal was based on Gearbox reaching certain milestones, it's unclear how much of the $1.3 billion Embracer ended up paying out beyond the $363 million in guaranteed upfront payments. Okay. So upfront, they paid $363 million, and then as long as Gearbox met certain milestones, they would pay them more, up to $1.3 billion. So, yeah. So it could be one of the reasons why they are selling them off is because they didn't hit the milestones that they were looking for.
Maybe.
But as of the acquisition, they got $363 million up front. And so they sold it to Take-Two, which would be paid out in Take-Two shares. Wait. Now Take-Two Interactive has purchased Gearbox for $460 million, which will be paid out in Take-Two shares. So Take-Two is giving shares of themselves to Embracer to pay for Gearbox. Interesting. Huh.
So the reason why it's so the Take-Two has published games through 2K Games, including Battleborn, BioShock, Borderlands, Evolve, Mafia, Sid Meier's Civilization, The Darkness, and XCOM. Then they did something called Carnival Games, NBA 2K, WWE 2K, Ghost Story Games did Kerbal Space Program, and then Rockstar Games did Bully, Grand Theft Auto, LA Noire, Manhunt, Max Payne, Midnight Club, and Red Dead. And a bunch of other ones too, but...
Damn.
Because they have a lot of games.
But okay. It's cleared up a little bit.
A little bit. That's why I was confusing Take-Two and 2K, because they are basically who publishes the Borderlands games. But now they own Borderlands.
Names are essentially the same thing. Take-Two, 2K.
Yeah, it's like, come on, man.
It's too many twos.
Yeah, man. 2K Games was founded as a subsidiary of Take-Two Entertainment, or Interactive. Interesting. Okay. So they're part of it? I'm confused by all of this, really. Anyhow, Borderlands has a new home, or newish home.
Yeah. Good for them.
Good for them.
Speaking of things with new home.
Oh.
Do you remember that they were making a... now I'm spacing out of the name of the movie. The name of the show. Salem's Lot.
Remake.
The remake.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of disappeared.
Yeah, because Stephen King was talking about how like they made it and he'd seen it, but they're not doing anything with it.
Well, that's not entirely true.
Okay.
So the last thing that you said is entirely true. He tweeted out February 19th saying, between you and me, Twitter, I've seen the new Salem's Lot and it's quite good. Old school horror filmmaking, slow build, big payoff. Not sure why WB is holding back. Not like it's embarrassing or anything. Not even a month later, according to Inverse here, though, and which is according to Inverse, according to the Hollywood Reporter, reveals that the project is still alive, although it will premiere directly on Max instead of receiving a theatrical release. It's unclear if this is because of King's comment or if the timing was a coincidence, but it certainly demonstrated the interest in the movie and the confidence of an author who doesn't always love that what Hollywood does with his work. So it's not dead. There's nothing in here, or no, it does say Salem Lot premieres on Max in 2024. So it does look like it is sometime this year, just not a specific date. So okay. I think that's pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah, apparently it was finished because it was, let's see, blah, blah, blah. In 2019, New Line Cinema announced the movie adaptation. The movie was filmed in 2021, but post-production delays pushed its initial theatrical release date back of September 29th, 2022 to April 21st of 2023. And then it just kind of like, I guess, just disappeared after that.
That's because of the whole Warner Brothers fucking hoopla shit going on. Them fucking canceling movies straight out that are finished.
Which, come on. Like, I don't understand why. It's especially a Stephen King property. You know people love Stephen King. Just push it out. Just get it done.
I mean, I get it. You know, put it on a streaming service or whatever, right? If you're not going to put it on in theaters, whatever, right? But, like, put it out. I mean, you have it finished. It's done. Mm-hmm. You know, it's why not? You know, like, get out there. It's like the whole Batgirl or Batwoman, yeah. Batgirl?
Yeah, it was Batgirl.
Batgirl movie. Yeah. It's like, it's finished and in the can, and you did test screenings. People have seen it, and you just shit can it. And I'm like, why don't...
At least could put it out on streaming. There's nothing that you have to really do. You know, yeah, you can promote it, or not, whatever. But just at least put it out. It's done.
Yeah,
Make
I was
a
like,
little
okay.
bit back. But whatever. We're not executives over at WB.
Thank fucking God.
I mean, it'd probably be a lot different if we were.
I mean, yeah. I'd make some changes, I'm just saying. I don't want to be those guys right now because they're making some terrible fucking decisions.
Right. Speaking of making some decisions here.
Oh, hell yeah. What's up?
You own a PlayStation 5.
I do.
Why don't you buy a PSVR 2 so that Sony can get rid of some of the inventory that they have so that they can start production on it again?
Because it's trash?
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, apparently sometime this past year, and I can't remember when it was, that that Sony is facing basically challenges in selling the PlayStation, the PSVR 2, and so they are halting production on any more units until they get through more of their inventory.
I mean,
looking forward. So the company revealed that it's only sold 8.2 million units of the console. That says console. Where was this? Sorry, it's been a while since I've read this article. Okay, so the PSVR 2 launched in February 2022, and Sony has so far produced over 2 million units, with sales decreasing every quarter since launch, according to Bloomberg. The report also reveals that during the fourth quarter of 2023, the company reportedly sold around 325,000 units of the PSVR 2, which is a stark decrease from the 595,000 units sold during the first quarter of the same year. Well, this actually says Y, WHIE. Good job, guys, from the street. Sony struggles to move PSVR 2. The report from Bloomberg notes that Meta is experiencing an increase in sales. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So they're just putting a slight hold, from what I understand, on producing any more.
So there's two reasons. All right, so there's two reasons I would never buy it.
Okay.
One, it's not as good as a lot of the other VR systems, like the Meta stuff,
well,
right?
I've heard it is actually pretty nice.
So the new one might be a little better. The old one was not
better. The other
great.
old one definitely, but it has better screens, if I recall right. And it does what's known as foveated rendering, which helps to basically increase performance at the without really sacrificing any. Basically, what foveated rendering does, it tracks your eye movement, and so it really only renders what you're looking at in clarity, and everything else that's outside of it is rendered in a less quality way, and that's how that they can get better visual images with what's in front of you. I think they also use OLED screens in their new.
They do. They're OLED displays.
It's a pretty sick device. But anyway, what's your other reason why?
So the other reason why is because it's $50 more than a PlayStation 5.
Yes, it is literally buying a whole console.
But without the console.
And
if
you have to buy the console and
yeah.
then buy this. Yeah, I definitely agree that $500 for something that is...
$550.
Sorry, I thought it said 500 here.
It's $550 if you buy it brand new. You can get them for like $400 if you buy them like used from like GameStop or something. I know, but $550 is what it costs for the headset, and it's in the. I mean, I don't want to say the worst part. You do have to have it wired to your PlayStation.
Yes.
But yeah, that's kind of the reason why. Is like, and the other fact is I don't actually like VR that much because I wear glasses and it makes my glasses fog up. Mm-hmm. And it also makes my head sweat a lot, and I sweat just a lot as a normal human being. Mm-hmm. But I remember at E3 a bunch of years ago, I played the OG one when they did the Resident Evil. Was it Village? Or was it? I can't remember which Resident Evil it was. They did a VR thing for, and I did the Batman one. And they were both on rails.
Yes, I do vaguely remember seeing video of those.
Yeah, so you didn't really. And then I played the best game I played on it was which is funny to say. I say it that way because I can't remember the name of it. But it was like a mech sports game. You were like in a mech suit and you were playing kind of like hand soccer.
Okay.
What the hell's the name of that game?
I have no idea. This article here at least does list that kind of as one of the reasons why it's not been selling very well. It says that so far consumers can play major titles such as Resident Evil 4, Five Nights at Freddy's, Help 1 and 2. That's actually one game. And Hello Neighbor Search and Rescue on the PSVR 2. But the limited catalog of games is suggested to be a major factor in sales, and the cost to produce virtual reality games is substantially higher than normal titles, said Macquarie analyst. I'm going to butcher the hell out of this.
Oh, yeah, do it.
Zai?
Sounds about right.
While speaking to Bloomberg. I know it also has, which is weird that they don't list one of the biggest ones here, Horizon Zero Dawn, whatever the name of the VR version of that was.
Yeah.
That's what I've seen most when I've seen them showing off the PSVR 2.
Yeah, because they had a bundle with it when you could get it where it came with that game, I think.
And it looks sick.
And the other thing too is if I were gonna get a VR, right? Granted, I have the PS5 already, right? So like it would make you have that, right? So limited games, obviously, but I would rather, if I was gonna do that, I'd rather get a MetaQuest 3 because it's self-contained, and I don't have to tether myself to anything.
The bonus of that too is I believe they have just released support for Steam VR as well.
Yeah.
So you have the option to hook it to a computer and be able to play Steam VR games. I can't remember if you have to physically connect it or if you...
I think you have to download you have to link it to your
app, but I can't remember if you have to... I just can't remember if you have to plug it in or if it supports some sort of over-the-air type of...
I think it downloads the games to the headset.
No, I don't think it downloads the games to the headset. I think it's either you have to play it through PC connection or you can do it wirelessly through PC. It's basically streaming the stuff to it one way or another, whether it's a physical connection or wired. I don't think you have to download the games to it. That would require a lot of space on the headset in order to do that.
Let's see
Could
what
be wrong.
It says here.
Because my brother has, we have a MetaQuest 2, and through a little hackery, we've been able to play Half-Life Alyx a little bit, and that's by being connected directly to a computer. Yeah.
Oh, that's wireless. It's something called Steam Link.
Steam Link, yeah, that's their wireless streaming.
Yeah, so that uses that.
Okay, so yeah, it is streaming.
Yeah.
To it.
So it becomes essentially just a wireless headset for Steam. And I guess the graphics are based on whatever card you have running in your computer.
It is, and we're running it on my brother's computer, which is I don't even remember what he has in there. It was like, I think it's a 900 series NVIDIA card, so 9 or 10 series NVIDIA card. So not great at running VR games. It was playable, but not great. Which is one of the reasons why I haven't gotten back into to playing it, because I would love to, you know me, I love the Half-Life series, and Alyx is the only Half-Life game I haven't played yet fully.
So minimum requirements are computer running Steam and Steam VR, Windows 10 or newer, GPU of a GTX 970 or better, an AMD RX 570 or better, except for support of RX 64 and 65 XT. There's no hardware encoding for it. A wireless router of 5 gigahertz channel, Wi-Fi 5 minimum. And of course the oh wow, okay, so it actually can work on the MetaQuest 2, 3, and the Pro. So it even goes back to the MetaQuest 2. I mean, I guess it makes sense because you're just using the graphics, you're not using the power of the headset.
Well, and that's what we have is the MetaQuest 2.
Yeah. So as long as
like
you
I
have
said,
that,
it works. It just doesn't with what we had set up at the time and running off of my brother's computer, which, like I said, is like barely meets those requirements there.
Yeah.
It works well enough but it could be better. Like we ran it off my computer and then hardwired everything, and then obviously the headset would still be wireless, but it would run much better off of my computer. And hardwiring our router, that's what I was trying to think of. So at least the computer would have access to gigabit to the router, and the router could then stream over the 5GE, the 5E, whatever it's called. Actually, I don't even, just the 5 gigahertz band. I don't remember what the MetaQuest 2 supports wirelessly.
It says minimum is Wi-Fi 5.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing the
5,
2 has
5G.
5, yeah. Yeah, so recommended, it says Intel i5 4590 or an AMD FX 8350 or higher or better, obviously. 16 gigs of RAM, GPU of 2070 or better for NVIDIA. They don't list an AMD card of sorts for recommended, and it says broadband internet connection, and then Wi-Fi 6 or Wi-Fi 6E would be recommended, obviously, but minimum, you don't need that.
Yeah.
And it says supported input controls, Oculus Touch and Pro controllers. Please note, other input devices may work even if they aren't officially supported. You probably have to go in through and map your buttons because they probably don't have a switch over by themselves. And that's directly from Steam support. I just pulled it up.
Cool.
Because I still have Steam, even though I don't ever use it anymore.
One of these days you'll build a computer. One of these days.
I was actually thinking about that last night too. I was like, man, I should have got a computer recently, but I was like, that's way too much time and effort I don't want to deal with.
Well, it's fun with the effort and the time, but it's more of the money, how much you want to sink into it. Yeah.
I'm good.
'Cause it's not just the computer at this point. You have to also possibly get a new monitor.
Well, I would need a monitor.
That's what I mean. So that has to roll into the cost. Yeah. And then whether you want to go boutique with the keyboard or mouse or this or that. Little things get you. Trust me. I literally just finished my computer setup, and the little things slowly get you.
That's how they get you. It's all those little things.
Get you. Speaking of getting got.
Oh.
According to Inverse, where'd it go?
Yep.
Adam Wingward. He's a busy guy.
He is. Are you talking about the Face Off sequel?
No.
Oh.
I'm talking about the TV adaptation of the 1997 sci-fi horror classic Event Horizon.
Did you say TV classic? Because you watched it on TV?
No. Adaptation. They're making a TV show.
Oh. That's fucked up.
Yeah. So he's the one that I can't remember if he's writing it. I believe he's writing it or just producing it. But it's been actually in the works, he says, at Amazon Studios right now. There's no... Because he's got his hands in like a bunch of like 5 different things, which include one of the Godzilla movies.
He's been
doing the Godzilla movies for a while now. What else has he been doing right now? The Face Off thing, like you mentioned, Thundercats.
Yeah.
So he's been involved in a lot of stuff. But the one thing that I was shocked to hear is potentially first up of what he's doing after he's finished the Godzilla stuff is a TV adaptation for Amazon of Event Horizon. Not a whole lot else beyond that, but I just thought that was interesting that they decided to make a TV adaptation of it.
Is Event Horizon based on something?
I don't believe so.
I mean, besides someone's fucking acid trip?
Because it's a Paul W.S. Anderson film. So I don't believe it was based on anything. He just wrote the script for it.
Oh, actually, he directed it. Philip Eisner.
Or directed it. Did he direct it?
Yeah, yeah. Paul W.S. Anderson directed it, but the script was written by Philip Eisner.
Gotcha.
It's not based on anything.
No. But that's one of those movies that has stuck with me. Like,
yeah, I wonder why.
Enjoyed it. Well, yeah, it's a space movie, but it's the gore and horror of it that has stuck with me over these years. It's not like it was overly gory, from what I remember. It's just the type of of how it was presented is what stuck with me over the years. And it's a property that I've really enjoyed. So it's just weird that it's like, hey, let's make a TV series out of it for Amazon. All right. How are we going to string this out? We going to go back to the Hell Zone or wherever?
Well, it's probably going to be like a remake, but just expand it more to be like, maybe we get to see what happened to it beforehand.
Mm-hmm. Which would you rather see then? Would you rather see like, hey, we're going to follow the events as they happen? So, the launch of the Event Horizon, the fact that it went to this other dimension, what happened in the other dimension, and then came back? Or would you rather see basically somewhat of the same of what the movie was? The Event Horizon went missing for X amount of time, then showed back up. They sent a crew out to go and investigate it, and then they investigate, shit happens similar to the movie. They get out, the Event Horizon gets destroyed, because I think that's what happens at the end of the movie. But they want to explore more of what happened to the Event Horizon as the series goes on.
Yeah. Interesting.
Which would you rather do?
I mean, I would kind of like to know what happened in between. You know what I mean? Like where it went and what happened to everybody on it.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I mean, depending on how, because if you expand it and like it moves on, like whatever that the demon entity or whatever it was, the hell fucking thing, if that can move on, is it just like another ship or another thing it grasps onto to try to, and like where does it, like how do you explain, like is it something that's trying to get into our universe or whatever, or is it trying to just get victims? Is it trying to, that's what I'm like wondering, like how would they expand the story, like because it's with the Event Horizon, it's a mystery on where the ship went, how whatever happened to it happened, and then of course obviously what happened to everybody on the Event Horizon. We probably get a pretty good explanation of why, or what happened to them, because we saw what happened to the crew that basically went back to it. And just I'm trying to look at because I'm using Wikipedia as my news for it, but it says in August 2019, the television series based on the film was reported to be in development by Paramount Television and Amazon Studios. Adam Wingard will direct the series in addition to serving as an executive producer alongside Larry Gordon, Lloyd Levin, and Jeremy Platt, who previously held producer roles on the original feature film. But apparently, in 2011, December of 2011, Paul W. Anderson and Jeremy Bolt stated they had been ongoing discussions to explore additional movies that would expand the Event Horizon story in the form of a prequel and a sequel. Potential stories would be developed, including following the first crew aboard the Event Horizon and their mission that led to their disappearance for 7 years, as well as the continuation film detailing the event that followed the rescue of Lieutenant M.L. Stark, T.F. Cooper, and Ensign Baby Bear Justin. But by October of 2020, however, after years of no development, Anderson stated that he had not returned to the property in any continuation because he did not want to take away from the experience of the original film. In 2022, Anderson reiterated the talk that talk of a prequel and or sequel is always ongoing, and stated that they what has kept the project from being a reality is the desire to preserve the original film's ambiguity. So that mystery that I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, obviously, there was a 9-year gap between when they were talking more about it to like someone brought it up, years later, and he says they haven't really gone into it again because he wants to preserve the mystery of the original one. So that's what I mean. He's like, do you develop this show as something new, or do you redo it as a show and possibly sprinkle in prequel stuff and then expand it past the ship itself?
Mm-hmm.
And does the possession of the ship, because it was the AI of the ship that was possessed by whatever this thing was that was killing people or causing people to go crazy? Again, we don't really know because there was no answers in the original movie. And do you try to develop that more into a story of how this would, like, does it grab a hold of one of these characters and then that they bring it forward to somewhere else? Does that entity grab another ship and make it disappear and do the same thing? Because then it's just like, oh, it's just a rehash of over and over again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see how they do it. But I'm more, to your question, I'm more apt for them to redo the story in long form, so we get more suspense and more probably horrific things happening to people.
Mm-hmm.
But make it kind of like a what's the video game? Dead Space kind of thing, where it's like, like it's all, because obviously Dead Space is very much alien inspired, not so much aliens but alien.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously with a lot more than just one alien. But like, so you can make Event Horizon a long format TV show where you're telling a story over multiple seasons, but like that would be hard to do because then you have to, like, what do we do for 10 episodes or whatever. But if you were to figure out how to expand it past like a single season, I would be okay with just one season of hardcore Dead Space type fuckery, where you're just constantly under the threat of what next horrific thing is gonna fucking terrorize us until there's none of us left.
So it'd be like a mini series type thing.
Yeah, a limited series, as they think they're calling them now.
Okay.
That's what I would want, because I just want them to dilute it so much where it's like by season 2 it's basically just a different group of people getting terrorized.
Right.
Without,
yeah, I can agree with that.
But I don't know. That's what I would say.
Fair enough. The only last thing I have here is I didn't know this. Maybe we talked about this and I just can't remember. That Spinal Tap 2 is in production right now, and Lars Ulrich and Chad Smith, Lars Ulrich of Metallica and Chad Smith of Red Hot Chili Peppers, is set to cameo in the film.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah,
they'll join other cast members such as Christopher Guest, Michael McKean, Harry Shearer, plus Paul McCartney, John Elton, and Questlove.
John Elton?
That's what it says. Or Elton John, sorry. Wow.
Okay. I was like,
Elton John.
I'm not too sure who John Elton is, but I knew it Elton John.
Elton John.
Yeah, I saw a little bit. I didn't see the thing about Lars Ulrich and Chad Smith, but I'm super down because I love This Is Spinal Tap, as well as all the other stuff that they've done. But This Is Spinal Tap is one of those ones where it's like such a weird thing to ever have been made, but also so classic in when they made it, because it literally felt like a real rock documentary.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously they call it a mockumentary because it's making light of a documentary, but it's like it just felt so real because they made it for real. They made a real band out of it and filmed them on a tour. But it was just so one of those things where like it just felt so perfectly done that it's just, and it's the reason why it's a cult classic at this point. Actually, well, successful. I shouldn't even say cult classic. It was a classic just in general because it did really well, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I believe it did. It's set to release this March as well to coincide with the 40th anniversary of Spinal Tap.
That's fucking rad.
Right? But that's it. That's all I got.
All right, cool. I don't have anything else. I was looking at other stuff, but nothing of import.
Nope.
On here. So that's it for this week's episode of Comes Naturally. We have been
Joe.
I have been Cody, and as usual, you fuckers just came naturally.
Bye.